So earlier in the year, Casey and I went round and removed the tree tubes from some of the trees, specifically privet. They aren't usually eaten by deer. And now I'm removing these chestnut palings. I'm reusing them for the oaks which I'm planting today. The first thing to check when you unbox new trees, they look really healthy. You're looking for dead wood, basically. The best way you can tell whether or not the tree is actually dead as opposed to just dormant, which trees are always dormant in the winter, so you'd expect them to be dormant at this time of year, is to scratch the bark with your fingernail. And if underneath the bark it's green, that means that the tree is alive but dormant. If underneath the bark it's white or brown, that means the tree's dead, or at least dead at that point. So then go further down the tree and see if it's alive further down. As soon as they come out of the box or bag, they need to go into a source of water, something like a bucket, or here we've got a pond. Leave them in there to soak. But I can see that the roots are already wet, the ground's wet this morning, so it's going to be okay for me to take a few now to go and plant. Don't leave more than 2 or 3 out at a time, because the roots will dry out very quickly, even in light winds, and especially if it's frosty, they'll frost the roots. You need a spade, you need the tree itself, you need a stake, you need a mallet or a hammer, and then you need the tree tube, or you need something to protect the tree against deer, rabbits, or whatever is going to be eating your tree in the area. So first dig a hole one way, then dig a hole the opposite direction, then slide your tree into the slot until the top of the roots are level with the top of the slot. Then firm the tree in with your toes and stamp it in with your heel. Make sure at the end that the slot is firmly closed up, because otherwise it might open up later in the season, especially if it's clay. Hammer in the stake until the stake reaches just above the level of the top cable tie, otherwise you won't be able to tie on the top cable tie. Slide on the tree tube, taking care not to knock off any buds. Loosely tighten the cable ties, whack the tree tube into the ground, and then tighten the cable ties really firmly. And that's it, that's your planted tree. You can put a weed mat around the outside to stop weeds from competing with the growth of the tree. It will help the tree to grow faster, but I prefer not to use one because it just, it looks worse, and also it costs more. So it's going to take a really long time for the oak tree to reach this height, but this is a black poplar, and there are other native trees in the UK like this black poplar which will grow really fast, so it's worth checking them out. You can have a look at trees on buynative.co.uk and on the tree list at hatcherywild.co.uk.